Hey guys.
Hey.
Welcome back to our channel.
To Plots with a Twist,
where we discuss books.
amongst other things.
Okay, so this is episode 2 in our series Read to Real, where we compare TV shows that have been based on books that we've read or decided to read after watching the TV show, either or. So first one we did was The Little Fires Everywhere, which if you haven't seen that, check it out. We'll link it below. Really good one, good show and good book. Yes. And now we're back with number 2, which is The Outsider by Stephen King.
Yes, so let's get into it. All right, so as we discussed, if you've never seen our Read to Real, I keep forgetting what we just,
I know.
Read or real.
Okay.
It's spelled the same way.
way.
So
y'all understand.
If you saw our first one, I guess our goal, we'll do it, kind of switch it up each time depending on like what we want to point out. But mostly we want to point out major differences that we feel like influences the story or changes the overall plot or theme or whatnot. So yeah, today we want to do that with The Outsider. So The Outsider was one that we watched the show first and then went back and watched
and read the book.
So yeah, that was my first time ever doing that.
Me too, because I don't like, if I see like if a movie comes out based on a book and I see the movie first, I don't want to go back and read the book because it's like I'm reading something over again. But yeah, no, I've done that before. I've done that once before, and that's what Eat, Pray, Love. I watched the movie first and then read the book.
But those were two very different.
Very different, but still, I normally don't do that though. So,
So we went back and read it, and I think we enjoyed both of them for different reasons. And just to put it out there already, if you aren't familiar with our episodes, there will be spoilers throughout. So if you haven't watched the show or read the book, you might want to hit pause and do that, and then come back
because we're gonna ruin everything for you.
So so Stephen King is very much a supernatural horror type kind of guy. Yeah. Can't get it out. Author. So yeah, so that is very apparent in this book. So The Outsider is about this murder that happens in this town, Flint City, I believe. Yeah. Of this young boy, and basically everything points to the town's baseball coach as the person to kill him. They have multiple witnesses. They have tons of evidence, tons of forensics that point to Terry Maitland as the killer. But because of the nature of the crime, the detective jumps on that and it's like, let's arrest him in front of everybody, do it dirty, get him out of there.
Right, he killed the child, it's done. He's done.
But doing it that way messes everything up and takes away the opportunity for them to even look into an alibi, which Terry Maitland very much has, a strong alibi that points to him being in two places at once. So the story then goes into how is this possible, them doing the legwork and the backwork to figure out where he actually was, and once they figure out that it's very much possible that he didn't commit this crime, how is it that his DNA and all this evidence is in this place that shows that he committed this crime, and who actually committed this crime if that's not the case. So that's pretty much what both the book and the show go into. And now we'll go ahead and get into our differences.
So the first thing that we wanted to point out that was different from the show to the book was that in the show, I guess I'll reference the show first since that's what we watched. The show, Ralph's son, who is the Detective Anderson, who's like one of the main characters in the show. He's investigating what's the boy's name?
The murder of Frankie Peterson.
Frankie Peterson. How do you remember the name? I'm like, who's
you? And this be you when we be talking about books. You like Sarah, Mary Beth.
I cannot remember his name. But yeah, he's investigating the murder of Frankie Peterson.
Is it Frankie Peterson? It's the Peterson boy.
The Peterson boy.
I can't remember if it's the brother or yeah.
And he's okay. So one of the differences from the book to the show was that Ralph Anderson's son in the show is dead. He died of cancer at like I believe the age of 14 or 15. And in the show, in the book, he's very much well and alive and at summer camp for the summer. So we don't really like get to like hear much from him or anything, but Yeah, he's alive. He's alive. And that was like a big difference because it really, for Ralph Anderson's character, it kind of set the tone of like, just how he goes about his life. And you could tell it's like a very like heavy thing for him, like losing his son at a young age. And we didn't have that in the book.
Yeah, I think to be fair, in the book, his son's voice and presence was kind of like reminding him of the relationship that he had with Terry prior to like arresting him. So yeah, I think that definitely changes the dynamic of how he looks at Terry, because he knows, but he doesn't have his son there to kind of like be like, hey dad, he used to coach me, and chill out.
Yeah. Whereas in the show, it was like, oh, my son is dead. You used to coach him. Did you ever used to do any crazy, weird stuff to him too? Like, I need to know. And it wasn't, the energy was different in the book.
So the second thing that we noticed was a major difference was actually Terry's wife and her outlook on when they present the theory on who actually killed the kid. In the book, she was actually on board with it, on board with there being some kind of supernatural element. In the show, she was very much against it.
Yeah, she was not going for it.
She was like, you brought me here to talk about the boogeyman?
Right.
So she didn't like that in the show. So I don't know. I think that kind of majorly influenced, because in the book, it was just basically maybe one person, that was Ralph Anderson, who really didn't buy the theory that there's a supernatural element going on here. But in the show, I guess it created more of a struggle to accept this narrative that, hey, there's something else at play here. I think in the book, she just wanted answers. And in the show, she very much wanted answers as well. But if it didn't make sense to her, she wasn't buying it. She wanted concrete. My husband didn't do it, and that's it. Where's the paperwork to show that? I can't send something to say, hey, Boogeyman killed this boy, So I think that just really influenced just the overall kind of tone and dynamic of just the overall theory of accepting this supernatural element. The fact that it was more people that didn't really go on board, and she was, number one to say, hey, I don't buy it. So that was another major difference that we noticed.
The next one that we noticed that was a major difference was just Jack's overall character in the show versus the book. So Jack was, how is it described? He was also a police officer working for the same team, a detective working for the same team as Ralph Anderson, and they kind of like bumped heads, like they didn't really see eye to eye in the book or in the show, differently, but didn't really get along. But he was assigned to kind of like follow up with investigate certain things on the Terry Maitland case, and in doing that, he ends up getting touched by the little demon. Okuko, right? And is in turn like sets out to do Okuko's like dirty work or whatever. So he gets involved in, basically like trying to harm all the others, trying to investigate the crime. And in that, Jack, in the book, and let's start with the show. In the show, Jack and Ralph, they don't really go into depth as to why they don't really like each other, and you can see that even though they don't really like each other, they kind of like have different views. They still have some type of respect for each other. But in the book, it's very much Jack's character is, I want to say you're more inside his head. You get to see more of his internal talk with himself and with with El Cuco, and just how he feels about doing different things for this monster in relation to the people that he actually knows. And in the book, he seems, I'm not gonna say he seems like he wants to do harm, but he goes from 0 to 100 real quick. Really, really quick. Whereas in the show, you kind of see this internal debate where he doesn't want to harm them because he's a detective, but he has to do these things because this creature is harming him, and he basically has no choice, and he has that internal struggle of like, I don't want to kill them, I don't want to do these things, but I have to do it. Whereas in the book, he kind of is a little bit gun-ho about like doing everything. So Jack's character is just very different from the show to the book. What you think?
I actually thought that was glad that they gave him more of a, I guess they gave him more dimension.
In the book.
Because in the book, he was very one note. So I did enjoy that they gave him more, more of a made him more human in the show.
In the
I guess.
show, yeah. Because in the book, it's definitely he's giving you monster vibes because he has a monster attached to him, but also because like
he's like,
yeah,
I hate him.
Yeah, like it's just very strong, his feelings. Yeah. So yeah, so on to the fourth.
So the fourth thing that my pat your weave, ladies. Okay. The fourth thing that I noticed or we noticed was a major difference that influenced the overall vibe and tone is Holly as a character. In the show, she had a love interest. I think in the show she was more like a OCD type, kind of remembered miscellaneous facts for whatever reason, could calculate things, and she had more of a kind of backstory as to
why she was the way she was.
Right. Yeah. In the book, she was very much like kind of doubtful on herself and kind of like kept down talking herself as well, but it was no real like, it wasn't really something special that they pointed out about her. She seems to feel like she just happened upon these things and was able to discover these things by luck or just by intuition or by, using what's the best plausible outcome. I understand. Now, let me pause there. I understand that Holly has more of a backstory told in the Mr. Mercedes series. So we have not read the Mr. Mercedes series.
So we don't know nothing about Holly.
Right. But they did reference her, Bill Hopkins, I believe, was the guy she used to work for, which was one of the main characters in the Mr. Mercedes Mr. Mercedes series. So that may be where some of the things that are kind of tossed in the show came from. Or it might be why, we don't have that strong understanding of Holly's character like we probably did in the show. But yeah, they made her a little bit more, I think, giving her a love interest made her a little bit more human and not as robotic as she's presented. As well, but in the book, she's also like is that relevant? She prayed. So maybe they just switched it out. I'm not sure, but yeah.
And in the book, I feel like she instead of her having a love interest, and I just thought about this, they focus more on her relationship with Bill Hopkins, like her boss. Like it was just she would always, because I believe he died. So she was always just like thinking about like the cases they went on and everything reminded her of him.
Unless that was her love interest, and we just didn't know because we didn't read the series.
But yeah, maybe I feel like they maybe just swapped that out because she was like more for her, like what they did give her any backstory in the book. It was more about her relationship with Bill Hopkins and the cases they did together and how she just missed him. Like that was referenced a lot. Like she missed him and she thought about him a lot. So maybe that was a little boo. I don't know. But yeah,
I don't know. Y'all let us know because yeah, I think it was Mr. Mercedes, Finders Keepers. I can't remember. I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever read those. I know they have a show for Mr. Mercedes. Maybe we'll watch the show. Yeah. But yeah, just Holly's character overall. She kind of had a different dynamic. I actually kind of liked how she was in the show. I don't know. Maybe it's because she was black. That could have been it too.
She's definitely white
representation. So yeah. But yeah, I kind of preferred. I kind of like the varying dynamic of her, how she's very kind of straight to the point, robotic in a way, but you can tell she has real human feelings.
Right. She's very much quirky and eccentric, but like not to the point of where you can't imagine her as a real person.
Right. There you go. Look at you. All right. And so the last major thing that we noticed that overall influenced
is the ending. You take the ending because I can't remember what.
So the ending. So okay.
I do remember what happened. They killed the thing, but spoiler.
Okay, so spoilers, major spoilers. Okay, so we're going to discuss the ending.
Yeah.
So the ending in the book was very much finite. Like, hey, this is what we discovered. Here's who did this. Don't know if there's other
in the book.
In the book. Don't know if there's other creatures, but we'll take this creature out. Let's open this investigation back up on Terry so we can go ahead and prove his innocence while everyone who's involved acknowledges that, we know who actually did it, but we got to make sure the public, is sufficed in, getting the information they need to like not drag this man's name any longer.
Right.
So that's cool. Like even the DA was on board with everything because he was like, okay, he didn't do it, whatever. But in the show, they kind of hinted at a possible another murder happening, which was kind of weird because he got a folder with a similar crime scene and that was it. The DA did anyway. And then they never really discussed Terry's case, but I think it was just given to the wife that, hey, we know he's innocent.
We know he's innocent. We're gonna do something else.
Right.
Sorry.
And then, you got this kind of open-ended ending where Holly has a scratch. She's having like
that's what
visions
really did it,
and things like so. Of
so
course,
did Ralph. He had like a little vision.
He had like a little vision.
A little dream,
of course, there wasn't announced that there was a second season, not that we saw anyway, but it was probably, of course, ended differently to present the possibility of a second season versus the book. So. It's just going to be one book. So yes, so that is the reason why probably the endings are different. But of course, it influenced the overall story because I feel like even going back to prove this man's innocence was a bigger thing that happened in the book than it did in the show. I think it was just more so the characters coming full circle with what they discovered versus them the actual what sparked the catalyst for everything even being mentioned again in the show. So I don't know. I love the show, so I wouldn't mind if it was another
the show was
season.
Really good, so I would like them to bring.
But I did like how they kind of tied everything up in the book. So.
If it didn't come back, it's not like, oh, what happens? Like, you kind of just be like, okay, well. But yeah, I will watch. So,
which did you prefer? We didn't discuss that in our last read to real. Which did you prefer, the book or the show?
Probably the show. And I did enjoy the book because the narrator was awesome. He gave all the spunk. He gave all the different voices and accents. But I would prefer the TV. The TV show was just good. The actors are awesome. The way they shoot it is really good. The casting was really good, especially now reading the book and seeing who they cast. Like it may be a little biased because we saw the TV show first, but they fit. Like I feel like the characters fit like the characters in the book. So it was a good show.
Yeah, I prefer the show. I think they gave more characters, more dimensions, like such as Jack and Holly for me. Yeah, and they just gave an overall, bolder statement in the show that was kind of more necessary for this type of story. Because it's not an easy thing to say, hey, there's a boogeyman out there, and you're like, okay. Like, that's kind of how the book presented it, whereas the show is kind of like them actually grappling with, there is actually something else going on, and you as a person might be in that situation, like, I'm not about to believe it's no boogeyman. Not like that.
And that's why I want to read some more Stephen King because I feel like because I watched the show, even though the show was creepy at times, I've heard that Stephen King books give you that feeling like you're watching a horror, like they scare you. And I want to get scared a little bit. Like I want to see, not for real because I don't even watch horror movies, but in a book I would like to experience that, like just to see if like he's that writer that everybody say. Because it's the first, because it's the first Stephen King book that I've ever read. So I want to see, like, I want to read some more.
What's a good scary Stephen King?
That's gonna like get the I want to read that.
I'm not reading that. First of all, not because it's a killer clown, but that thing is thick. I am not getting through that book. Not
because it's a killer clown.
I mean, if y'all say it's really good,
I will try to attempt it one day in my life, but not
maybe when I'm old and in a rocking chair, and it's like I ain't got nothing else to read. So.
I ain't gonna scare me to death. But yeah.
All right. So yeah, just let us know another Stephen King novel we should read.
We should check out. Yeah.
Also,
give us suggestions.
Let us know any other.
He has so many. So.
Let us know any other read. We're going to get it right. Let us
Read
know
to real. I feel like it's
read to reels that you want to see us do. We do have a few in the pipeline, but
if there's anything that we like just need to do and you feel like, oh, you guys have to do this one, let us know.
And let us know like what other things you would like as far as discussion points for them. Again, we're playing around with it. We're new.
We're open to suggestions. So.
We're evolving. We can change it up if we want to. And who says you can't? Even if we, was a vet in the game. All right. So, like, comment, subscribe.
And we will see you guys next time.
Bye.